So our job as Democrats is to inform individuals about candidates and to encourage individuals to vote. Again, you can't be a responsible citizen without being knowledgeable about the issues and the voters. And so as part of our role, we will bring candidates to this organization, Democrats, for you to meet with them. The setup this meeting is as follows. We're going to ask all the candidates to exit the room, and we're going to have one candidate come in, and they'll have between 5 and 8 minutes to talk and answer questions. And the benefit for this is that they have uninterrupted time with you. So they can use that time how they want. If they just want to talk for 8 minutes, fine. If they want to talk for a minute and answer questions, they can do that. And we do have a recording going on, and so the recording will be placed on our social media channels or platforms so that individuals who were not able to join us will have the opportunity to watch it. So, are there any questions about the setup? For the candidates in the room, again, this is not a monster truck rally. Democrats are hip. We are quite educated. We want to hear the facts. We want you to talk about yourself. It's not about others. It's about why we should be electing you. So with that said, may I have all the candidates exit the room? Yes, sir.
Are the candidates allowed to distinguish themselves?
By not naming anyone's name. It's only about them. It's like walking and looking yourself in the mirror. You're the only person you should be talking about. Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. Okay.
No worries. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Don't mind us. By this time, we're all a little confused about what time of day it is. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Jackie Railey. I am presently the Vice Mayor of Coconut Creek. I have been a resident of Coconut Creek since 1998. I have been married for 60 years. I have a daughter. I have 2 beautiful grandchildren. We come from New York. Brooklyn, to be specific. Okay. I started my career at an insurance company, went to school at night, went to NYU, took some classes, unfortunately never matriculated, but was able to get a position working as an executive assistant to the president of Seafarers International Union, vice president of AFL-CIO. After that, moved on to Goldman Sachs. Finished at Goldman Sachs to become a stay-at-home mom. Did that for about 10 years. Wanted to be around my daughter, be there for her. And then took up real estate. Did commercial and residential real estate, both managing and sales and leasing. My husband started with AT&T, retired from Verizon. We decided to come to Florida, where I swore I was never going to live here full time, but fell in love with it in Winmore, hit the ground running, got involved, became president of my association, then became a council rep, then became first vice president, and have been president there for almost 8 years in Winmore. That's my background. I am now a part of the Broward Planning Council. I have been in outreach programs. I have been part of advisory boards. I have raised over $400,000 for the American Cancer Society. Let me see, what did I leave out? Broward League of Cities. I've worked the U.S. Census. I've been, what else did I do? I'm a graduate from the Coconut Creek Citizens Academy. And I did something else. I took the census and I worked the polls. So as you can see, I have always been an advocate. I have always been a volunteer. I have always been involved. Since I am affiliated with the city of Coconut Creek, I have fought, well, even before that, when in Winmore, fought ferociously to stop the turnpike expansion. We have been doing that for years, as well as the landfill. So we have been fighting these issues for years, and we've been able to delay them up until this point. So not just me, and I'm talking about everybody involved. Everybody in Winmore, everybody in Coconut Creek has gotten involved. I will work 1,000% for you. It's not, I never do the easy way. Some of you can attest to that. I never take the easy way out. You won't be happy about what I do, and I'm not going to change anybody's minds, and not everybody's going to be happy with the end result, but I will always stand for the right thing, and that's what's important. Moving forward, we have Main Street. We're redoing our parks. Want to be a part of that. We're going to work on the infrastructure. But there are so many things going on in Coconut Creek that we all want to see come to fruition. We want to bring South Creek up. We want to do so many things, and I still want to be a part of that. I don't know, anybody have any questions for me? You want me to keep going? By all means.
Thank you for coming, Commissioner Railey. One of the questions I have, and as a motorist, and I'm sure everybody comes across it, on Lions Road. Mm-hmm. Right before we turn in, there's a blank flashing red light.
Right.
Seems to me only happens when I see it. Too many cars that are coming north, gonna make the right turn, and when you're gonna make that left turn, that driver seems never to stop. I don't know if you can do something with that light and slow it up, or eliminate it and keep it a red light and just turn. Because I see you close accidents or close from the exact accident. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's something that we should consider working on that.
Absolutely. Well, the lights are controlled by the county. Coconut Creek doesn't control the traffic lights. That's county, number one. And number two, coming from New York, we know what a flashing red light means, or a solid red light. Very few people that are not from New York don't know what it means, and they get confused. They think that even just because it's a red arrow, that means they can just stop and go. No, a solid red arrow is wait till it turns. You cannot make that turn on a solid red. But I know that light has always been a bone of contention. Yeah, but I'll mention it to the county. I'll mention it to the county and see what we can do. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
What is the latest with the landfill?
The latest with the landfill. You're going to hear a lot about that tonight. But the latest is that the county commissioners are having a meeting on February 25th. Right now, they gave the Solid Waste Authority almost an impossible deadline. They expected them to finish in 30 days what they haven't been able to do in 3.5 years. So where it's going to go from here, we don't know. But I will tell you this, that the city is committed 100% to oppose this landfill. We are willing, and we will if we have to. If this goes in a different direction on the 25th of February, we will hire an attorney to fight this. And we will sue them to stop them. And we will have transportation. When I say we, I know the city is planning on it, but if we don't have,
30 seconds.
But if we don't have enough residents, Winmore is going to provide buses. You could sign up with us, as long as you don't take a Winmore resident seat. Vote March 11th.
What district are you running for?
Say it.
What district are you running
Oh, I'm running for District B. You will hear. Yes, Susan.
for? Yeah, tell us who you were endorsed by.
I was endorsed, please let me say this, by, other than the ones that are on my card, by the Florida Democratic Party. Not endorsed, I can't use the word endorsed, I have to say support. And they are helping me with my campaign. Now that's big. You heard about Nikki Fried. Well, this is the organization. They want to take back local. And that's part of this. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm in the Congressional Book of Record.
Hi, good evening, everybody. In 2021, the Sun Sentinel made a comment that Coconut Creek, that the commissioners in Coconut Creek were very, very close. They all voted exactly the same. They stubbornly resisted change, and they refer to them as Coconut Clique. When I came to live in Coconut Creek, I experienced firsthand how powerful this clique was, and it's the reason why I decided to stand. This clique can be traced back to 2015, when Calvin Reed was a resident of Winmore. He asked for help. The police arrived. 4 policemen tasered him, and for 10 minutes, and 2 days later he died. What is stunning is that the chief of police at the time kept this information from the residents of Coconut Creek, and the commissioners at the time never said a word.
Sorry, let me just interrupt.
Yeah.
What we would like you to do is to talk about why you should be the candidate.
Yeah,
and talk about the issues you are for.
This is what I'm fighting. I'm fighting the clique in Coconut
And
Creek.
What I would strongly recommend is
Yeah.
not to refer to anyone else other than you.
Yeah, I
So-
did not say that.
Well, this is the reason why I'm standing. And when you sent me the email, you didn't say to me that I wasn't allowed to mention anybody's names.
You are not allowed to mention anyone.
No, I understand that now, tonight. So,
Your time is running, so just let us know
please
what
speak.
you're gonna do.
And tell everyone why you are the best candidate.
okay,
for the
I am the best candidate because it's a very simple choice. It's about what's right and what's wrong. I will always fight for the best interests of the residents. I have been an activist my whole life. I will continue to fight here as I have been. I've been living here for just over 2 years. I fight every single day to protect the residents, to protect them from abuse, to protect the way that their money is handled, and I will do that for the residents. An example of why I will never ever be part of any kind of clique in Coconut Creek. There was a resolution to pass a vote for the PCD's site plan. Only one commissioner voted against it. And with the one commissioner who voted against it, the Grey Star, who was the developer, they conceded. Instead of, the person who voted against it wanted 3 buildings shortened to have a greater buffer, and because he voted against it, Grey Star then compromised and conceded they then would do 2 buildings. Now, can you imagine if all the commissioners had voted for this? What kind of concessions could they have reached? They also would have saved the taxpayers money because there wouldn't have been a lawsuit. And the residents that filed the lawsuit against the city wouldn't have had to pay legal fees. Those are the kind of issues that I would always, always fight for, because I would listen to residents and know what they want. Ask me anything you want. Yes.
Hi, I live in the North Creek area. I'm very concerned about the Parks and Recreation. Obviously, Main Street is a big focal point at the present time. However, at one of the recent commission meetings, they did decide to fund and put out the bid the improvements at Lakeside Park, but only in one section. Can you tell me, how would you support getting the other section completed?
Well, the first thing I would do is find out from the residents what they would want and then work from there. I know that at the north part of that's the park that they're redoing. I know that the residents have asked for a dog park. I would support that.
Actually, no, that is incorrect. That's
Oh, so sorry.
We did
Okay.
not ask for a dog park.
Oh, so sorry.
The plans have already been done. There were several meetings over the last several years on the improvements to the lakeside park. And the residents spoke clearly, and they have actually incorporated what the residents were requesting in the plans. My concern is, how soon would you feel that this sort of, not just out to bid, but get it completed? It's been a number of years.
Well, I would have to investigate it and see and come back to you with an answer. I don't know the answer to that. Yes.
I can hear it from the passion from your voice that you're interested in change.
Yes.
And Coconut Creek needs change. What would be one of your skills or qualities that you have that can convince us that you'd be the best candidate for Coconut Creek?
Thank you for that question. So, because I am an activist and I'm not a politician, I think outside the box and I think creatively. So any issue that comes up, I would approach it from a completely different perspective. As an example, I learned how to think creatively when I was fighting against apartheid in South Africa, and there was a law that black people were not allowed to swim in white public swimming pools. My husband at the time was a lawyer, and he found a loophole in the law that it didn't specifically say that black people can't swim in a white swimming pool. So what I did was I gathered a huge group of people from all the communities, and I challenged the government and defied the law, and I invited the press from all over, television, radio, newspapers, to photograph and film everybody jumping in the pool together. And that was the day that ended white-only pools. So that's the kind of approach I would have to everything that's going on. For instance, with Mount Trashmore.
1 minute warning.
With Mount Trashmore, I think that it needs a far more concerted effort and a much more powerful opposition to what's already been going on. I've already recommended that there should be a huge demonstration for the day, I think it's on the 28th of February, and I'd already spoken to the city to organize transport, to get people out there to demonstrate and make it known that this is absolutely unacceptable. If your water is going to be affected, and it's not if, your water will definitely be affected, that expansion of Mount Trashmore should absolutely not take place. Yeah.
3 seconds.
3 seconds.
23. What would you offer as an alternative?
For Mount Trashmore, I would make them go somewhere else.
The trash has to go somewhere.
Exactly, it needs to go somewhere.
Where would it go?
Not here, not on Mount Trashmore.
You had no other recommendation?
No, I'm sure that they must come up with another solution. This solution isn't feasible. I'm not a waste management expert.
That's time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Sandra L. Welch, and I am currently your mayor here in Coconut Creek, and have been on commission since 2013, and I'm up for the re-election for District C for commissioner. So a little bit about me. I moved to Coconut Creek in 1997 and immediately hit the floor running by joining the Women's Club of Coconut Creek, the oldest civic organization in the city. And I didn't stop there. I did a resident petition around Lake Julie to get it dredged here in South Creek, and other advocacy on behalf of residents. Served on Parks and Recreation Board as chair and vice chair for about 10 years. And then I ran for office in 2013, and fortunately I won. And I did something that maybe no other commissioner has done before. I was working at American Express and had for about 17, almost 18 years in customer service, billing and payment services, and employee relations. I took an early retirement from American Express so that I could do this role of commissioner full-time for part-time pay. But as much as I loved working at American Express, I loved serving this community even better. So some of the things that I've been able to do, accomplishments along the way, I think first and foremost is is regarding public safety, standing up our own fire rescue department, and then getting an alternative, better, a more efficient 911 service provider. And our police and fire departments are now accredited, which wasn't always the case for our police. Some of the reasons that one of the main reasons that I'm running for re-election, this will be my last term, we can put that on record, is because of the Main Street development, first and foremost. The design district was approved 20 years ago for that 200 plus acres that's privately owned. And the city has 3 10-acre plots there in the Main Street area. Over the past 8 years, different developers have come before us and sought approvals for what they thought would be suitable there. But it wasn't until the last 4 years that we've had a group of developers that have actually come before us with a product that is not only offering options for purchase and, sorry, I just lost my train of thought, options for purchase, but also commercial items that will be sustainable over time, which wasn't necessarily the case before. And I just completely lost my train of thought. I am so sorry. You know, you have all this stuff in your head and you're trying to get it out and your head's thinking faster than your mouth is. So, well, you know, they say when you need a lifeline, you got it, but I didn't have to call it. But I spend a lot of time, because I did retire so that I could do this full time, I spent a lot of time out in the community, listening to the residents, going to the businesses. I'm walking or biking in the parks, county and city both, working out in your Creek Fit gym, listening to the community to try to serve the office in the best way. And I said because I was running because of the Main Street development, because it is on the cusp within the next year or two of coming to fruition. And I think it would be a disservice to ask someone brand new to come up to a learning curve of what has happened particularly happened over these past 8 years, so that we can have a project there that will be amenable and important and sustainable over the years and serve you for years to come. And as far as public safety goes, in addition to that, I've already done some homework and realized that not only the fiscal spending needs to be intact so that we have the least impact to our residents. I did a little homework, and actually, since I've been in office, we've been able to lower taxes for 6 times, and the only increase it twice, and both of those were in the name of public service. Once was in 2018 when we were setting back money to get that additional new efficient 911 service provider. And then this past year in 2025 when we made the very tough decision, but it was also in the name of public service, so that we could build the promised permanent fire station in the middle of our city there in Main Street, Station 113, and the administration building, as well as remodel our 50-plus-year-old police department, which certainly is not up to hurricane standards. So that certainly needed to take place. And in addition to that, the increase went to develop those parcels that the city, owns in Main Street. So do you have any questions for, all right, I would be disappointed, Benita, if you didn't. So what I'm trying to say is, at the very conclusion of this, before you begin, Benita, is I come into this role with full-time energy. I have maintained it through the years that I have served, and I plan on doing the same for the next 4 years if you choose to vote for me, March 11, District C Commissioner, Sandra L. Welch. Benita, floor is yours.
If you remember, several years ago, when you were actually on the commission, I believe, the city passed a, I don't know if it was a resolution or a plan or a procedure, but it was a procedure where HOA communities, condos or HOA communities, could negotiate a contract with the city and the police department. Sorry, I thought there were police down there a little while ago. And the
They
police
weren't needed
department.
right now.
And you mentioned safety, and this is what I'm getting to, into where the police would then be able to come inside those gated or non-gated, but they're HOA private roads, and be able to perform the same tasks and abilities that they do on the county city roads.
It started out, go ahead.
Okay, so when I spoke to, I believe the police officer was Butch, I think he went by the word
We need
Butch.
to heads up, we only have 1 minute left, so
Okay.
if you want to get to the question.
He said, I asked him at one time, about a year afterwards, how many communities had signed up and how many had been approved? And the answer was 0, 0. Do you know how many have signed up and how many have been approved?
I do not know currently, but I'm disappointed because that came as a result of a conversation with one HOA about enforcement of parking. And because it's gated and private streets, there had to be a contract between the HOA and the police department in order to do that, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So it's unfortunate.
We're at 20 seconds.
And the same thing with our neighborhood enhancement grants. You know, we added security cameras and all of that to be included and added extra money into the budget. So it's unfortunate that each year money rolls over out of it that has not been utilized. So I don't know, we need to do a better job of advertising or something, but anything to help enhance and make our community safer. Can I take just one? That's it. I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right.
So you can definitely have the conversation right outside if you'd like to.
If you
to
come
talk.
out with me, I'll answer your question. Okay.
Are you sticking around the rest of the time, since we only have 2 candidates?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Mayor Welch will be sticking around afterwards, so if.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joshua Rydell. I've been blessed to represent you for almost 10 years now, and it's been the pleasure of my life. We're going to talk a couple things real quick, and I'll answer any questions. Why do I love Coconut Creek? Usually I'm not in a suit and tie sitting in this room. Usually I'm in that gym coaching girls basketball or girls soccer or somewhere doing that somewhere in the city. That's why I love Coconut Creek. Why do I love Coconut Creek? My wife teaches here. I've lived here. My kids were born here, and I have done everything in this city to try to make it the best city and to keep it the best city that we have. Some of the things that I'm proud of. We've gone to Coral Springs as 911. We've shaved minutes off response times in this city. What am I proud of? We've successfully, it's getting a little hairy now, successfully fought the turnpike and fought the expansion of the garbage dump. What else have we done? We've increased recreation programming for our youth and our youth kids. These are important things. We supported our first responders. I can't take all the credit for that. I've worked on a collegial body that has changed through the years. I was blessed to work with Mickey Belvedere and a number of elected officials that you all have known that have come to this club and spoke to you continually. I stand on my record. I stand on what I've done. I stand on how I do business. People have my cell phone number. It's on here. You can call me. Greg Yell actually called me and was like, when was that picture taken? We'll get into that in a minute because it's a little, I was a younger man then. But if you want some of the literature, or as my daughter is currently learning in U.S. history, she called it propaganda. It was actually a true story. In U.S. history, my seventh grader is in U.S. honors history, and her project, literally, that she's doing right now, is to create a piece of propaganda. So when she saw these all come in the mail, and she's like, Daddy, she's like, but I'm on it. And I go, if you're on it, it's definitely not propaganda. But the important thing that we can do when we look at all these cards and we look at everything, look what people have really done. How long they've been here, how long they're invested in this community, and what their goals are. And that should align with your goals. And if it is, you vote for that person. And if it isn't, you don't vote for that person, because that's the glorious thing about a democracy. I'm blessed to have a number of endorsements. Our police and fire unions, the Broward Teachers Union, the Broward Sierra Club. I'm an environmentalist. I was blessed to just receive a champion award from that organization. These are the things I love. I love being in a community, all right? I'm proud of the work I've continued to do. I'm proud of my availability to the community. I know a majority of you in here, and a majority of you in here have called me with an issue of some sort or another through the years, and I'd like to think I've always responded to you. If I haven't, I'm sorry. Candidly, I am, but I don't think there's probably many of that. But I get it. You're not everyone's cup of tea sometimes. So I'm open. Any questions you have, anything, but my priorities for the future are simple: keeping public safety, keeping our green space, making sure Main Street's a smart development, and continuing to increase our participation and our programming for our kids so they're not sitting on computers all day. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to come tonight, but I'll tell you, I have not been treated fairly here in Coconut Creek at all.
Okay.
Okay? I moved here 4 years ago from Manhattan because my cousin recommended it because Manhattan wasn't safe for me. Well, I don't feel safe in Coconut Creek. I have been harassed here, threatened. I've been thrown out of this community center saying I did something which I was a teacher, an administrator of special ed. I don't know what I did, but women want to touch me and be like friendly to me. I am not a touchy-feely person, and I like men. I am not interested in the law that passed 2014, same-sex marriage. I wasn't thinking, oh, well, I can marry a woman. Thank you, but no thank you.
Okay.
Women want to do that and do it. But I have been discriminated against, made to feel like I don't belong here, made to feel different than everybody. I was a single woman, I had a boyfriend at home, and I've been discriminated against. And treated unfairly.
Thank you so
And they want to sell me an apartment 2 years ago in Boca, Century Village. I should give her $150,000 because I'm tired of it. It's a scam living here. It's a scam. Hot water, that's all we have is hot water. Since March, cable TV, I'm an active. I go to a synagogue, I'm Jewish. I'm sorry, but this way I'm treated here, it's like, I don't know why. My parents would never believe that the way I'm treated here. They lived in Deerfield Beach.
So my cell phone number's on here. If you want to call me, I'm happy to try to help you.
I did. I called Margate and spoke to them.
Do I get the time back?
Thank you, ma'am. So we will not hold this time again.
I got the time. All right.
Thank you so much.
My cell phone number's on there.
Thank you.
I'm happy to help if I can.
You can't get anybody on the phone. You just get voicemails.
Okay.
I need to restart.
I don't want to be the moderator. Greg, you can call.
Actually, no, it's up to you. I've been having the candidates do that, so it's up to you.
Well, I have been living here for almost 10 years, and Applewood, it is very safe.
Love the township.
There's no robbery, people are very respectful. I don't know what kind of experience they have, but very nice. Treated me very nicely, okay? My question is that this commissioner is for 2 years, and you can be elected indefinitely. How many attempts?
Okay, so just to clear it up for the room, when you have a ballot, whether you mailed it in already or you didn't, there's 3 races you can vote for. All right, I'm District E. So there's 2 people on the ballot for District E. I'm one of them. I'm asking for your vote for District E for a 4-year seat. The 3 ballots you're going to be voting on in this election are all for 4-year seats, and then in 4 years, we're reshuffling the commission, so you'll be voting on a mayor in 4 seats, but I don't want to use my time to go into things that aren't questions. Ma'am.
Answered mine already.
Okay. Ma'am?
What is happening? I know that the city has good planned growth, and we see Sprouts is coming. What's happening on the corner of Lyons and Atlantic?
The Greystar development was approved, was a logistics center, and there was a lot of, kind of misinformation that was going on about it. What it's going to be is an industrial complex that actually is going to be a huge boom to Coconut Creek, ultimately tax base. So you're not going to see more density. You're going to see an increase in a logistical center that's actually about to be leased 80% of it by an aviation company. So you're not even going to see trucks and things of that nature. So that's what you're going to have. The property's been in litigation. It's almost done with that. So we're hoping that litigation between the property owner and a group of residents can resolve and we can see it getting developed. And there's been homeless outreach people actually taking care of a lot of the homeless population there. Yes, sir. I love how you say the pledge, by the way. It makes me happy.
I've been in Broward. We moved to Broward in 1951. It was kind of smaller then. And you're talking about moving the dump west. Well, I'm also a Super Sierran. Go too far west and you're in the middle of the Everglades. Well, actually, you're not too far from the Everglades now. The source of our drinking water. Pretty good.
Well, first of all, the dump right now is ruining currently our drinking water. If you look at the well reports, it's already tainted our water table, and you have to have smart solutions. Broward County has no smart. You're not going west. You're going north. You're not going to infringe the water table. But the point is, I'm blessed to sit on the Solid Waste Authority's executive committee for the county, hoping to come up with real solutions for the future, not what this county has been tortured with of 40 years of bad policy for garbage, waste, and recycling. Yes, sir.
Commissioner, I love your passion with the youth and how much time you spend with them. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think about 40% of the Coconut Creek residents are seniors. What are your policies to show that much passion to the seniors?
So the median age actually changed. So the Coconut Creek median age was actually in the high 50s. It's actually the mid 40s now. So the dynamic has actually been seriously considerable. And if you live in Winmore or a retirement community, those median ages have come down considerably. So it's not just my passion for the youth. My passion for the youth stems from my kids. It's a passion for helping everybody. Funding this senior center that we have here, making sure that there's programming in Winmore. Our cops are getting in there about scams, right? You have access to programming, you have access to awareness. So it's don't think because I don't say it, I'm not passionate about it. I love coaching my daughters. So I'm guilty of that. But we put a ton of resources in, for example, depending on where you live, of access to our senior community, getting the access to services that they need.
1 minute warning.
Ms. Redmond.
Hi, Josh. My question is about the elections. So we have March elections. Turnout is very low. We're lucky if we get 10% of registered voters turning out in March. What would you propose, either moving the election to November when we would have higher turnout, or doing something to increase turnout in March? Because I think it's pathetic that our commissioners are elected by 10% of the residents.
Well, listen, I've supported November elections. I actually was just meeting with the Charter Review Board that's impaneled right now for November elections. But let me give you a sad statistic that affects everyone in this room. Do you know how many absentee ballots were sent out on a week ago to Coconut Creek residents? Nancy knows. How many, Nancy?
Just over 500, yeah.
514 ballots. Do you know how many were sent for the last municipal election? Almost 4,000. That's voter suppression. So to answer your question, I'm fine with November elections. I'm fine with any elections. I think more people, you're making a face that you think I've never said that publicly. I've always supported November elections, candidly.
I brought it up at a commission meeting and there was no support for it.
Because you're going back to something that we were talking about, two different issues, November elections and the mayor's race.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So everybody, if I'm done, if you want a picture of me, if you want my phone number, if you want anything, it's here. I answer the phone, it rings in my pocket. I'm asking for your vote. Joshua Rydell, District D.
Hi everybody, my name is Felicia, Shuman, Newkirk. How's everybody doing today? Okay, my reason for running for public office, I see that our city is struggling with the lack of resources. Our city is struggling with affordable living and rental and mortgage assistance for our seniors and our citizens that's not seniors. We also have a public safety issue as well in some areas of our city, and I'll get into that in a few. We also struggling in small business workshop development for our growing businesses, our businesses in the city of Coconut Creek that want to strive. We're also struggling with that resources. And also we're struggling with several other things, but it takes time. You know, if elected, I'll definitely have a resource center here in the city of Coconut Creek so that our citizens, whether it's our seniors or regular citizens, where they can come in and get information from A through Z. Whatever issue they're having, and this is not a campaign promise. We had a public safety issue. It was on the Florida Turnpike. So I reach out to officials on the local, state, and federal level. So we had an issue where if you're going southbound towards Miami and you get close to exit 69, we didn't have any merge signs. So that was a huge public safety issue. So I reached out to Harry Malt, he's over the Public Work Department, to ask him when would they start that project that's expected to start in 2028, which we can't wait. So I took action. I already hit the ground running. I took action. I contacted for the Florida Turnpike issue. I contacted On the state level, I contacted Daniel Jimenez and Brielle Gordon, who was very useful and resourceful, and they also got 2 merge signs out there, so that issue is resolved. So I'm already working. We have a issue on Lyons Road where there's no street lights. Starting at Sample, you got street lights on one side starting at Sample, and you have street lights that's not on the other side. Now, if you go into Fort Lauderdale or other cities, it's lit up like you're at the Super Bowl. And that's a big public safety issue. So moving forward, if the issue, if I don't hear back from anyone, I definitely contact Mark Bogan and get him involved, and also contact someone on the regional level as a director, the regional director, so that they can come in and get the ball rolling, because it's $3.5 million that's secured with the city of Coconut Creek that needs to be utilized immediately to prevent anything from happening, because we had an issue 13 months ago and it was a fatal issue, and we don't need another fatal issue to happen, because we never know when it can happen. In the city of Fort Lauderdale, our residents are able to get help through LHAP, and they're able to get help through the SHIP program. It's a program that provides fundings to the citizens, but in Fort Lauderdale, I want to bring those same resources from Fort Lauderdale that we to Coconut Creek for our seniors. They'll be able to get help through those programs for 6 months if they're going through a financial crisis. A lot of our seniors, they get Social Security and SSI, so sometimes Social Security will make an error on their payments, and then they get a small check. Have that ever happened to anyone? They look for a larger check, and if they don't submit certain things, it happens. So they fall into that crisis. I reached out to banks, and I hear that a lot of seniors are coming in there to get loans, but they won't be able to get approved for those loans because they only are on fixed income. So then they lose their places. So I want to bring in those resources for mortgage assistance and rental assistance in the city of Coconut Creek. Also, I was able to reach out to one of the seniors in Winmore, and they didn't get the memo, but it's a home exemption program that will take place on February the 20th from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m. where the Marty Kiera department will come in and help anyone that's facing any type of taxes issues, that's behind in their taxes. They'll need to bring a copy of their deed. They'll need to bring their Social Security. They need to bring a copy of their Social Security card, and they need to bring in also another document, their Social Security or their SSI awards letter. So please, if you're having any problems with taxes, it'll be here on February the 20th. And then the Marty Care Department will input the information in the system for you. So just in case someone didn't get the memo like the other residents, that's what I'm here for, to bring you the information. Also, the issue with the street lights will get solved soon. You will see some lights on Line Road starting at Sample all the way down to Hillsbury. It's very dark and it's unacceptable. And also with the Florida Turnpike issue, that issue was resolved. So I'm not here to give you any fake promises and fake campaigning or just lies. I'm actually working. You can reach out to those individuals as well. Feel free to. It's recorded. This is recorded. So what you get from me is coming straight from the horse's mouth. So do anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's one in the back. Sorry.
She's had her hand up for a while.
I have. So the city does have a down payment assistance, mortgage assistance program for low-income, elderly, first-time home buyers. They also have a repair. I don't work for the city. I work for another municipality. So I'm aware of that because I have actually pushed people to apply for that. Also, something to consider, you speak a lot about seniors, and I know that that is the core here. But as a previous candidate did say, the median household age is coming down. Coconut Creek is one of the few cities that is actually the most affordable for a first-time home buyer, including children, like parents with small children, young families.
So one of the things that you need to consider, I would say, was how are you going to help the working class, not the retired class, the working class right now?
First of all, thank you for your information. Please feel free to go to coconutcreek.net and look at the resources. Some of the resources, they don't have links to them. You can't even get to anything. So check it out on your own. How I'm going to help the young people, I'm going to bring scholarships to the community. I was a member of Fort Lauderdale Education Advisory Committee Board where I was able to bring scholarships and give the scholarship information to the kids to get a free 2-year scholarship. For affordable housing, I'll be able to get, based on your income and your size of your home. Now, this is for regular citizens. You'll be able to get 30% off of your rental if you meet that low income bracket.
That's your time.
You're welcome.